Well, we could do the thing as usual where we play a battle, give the feedback afterwards, and then maybe, depending on what you want, we could then play another battle with the new information.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Whoever's playing Beastman, can you stop moving your army around the map?
Yeah.
just stop. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, fuck this, man. I'm going off.
Hey!
You know that now you've said that, he's going to do it more, right?
All right.
Cool.
So how do you want to do this? Do you just want to be left alone to your own devices way, or do you want input from us as it goes? Either is completely fine.
I'm fine with input.
Okay.
It wouldn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think you should have some kind of like melee unit on your cannon, at least by your cannon to stop, some centaurs running through your lines, and then.
Yeah, I can use one of my Empire Knights for that.
Yeah. The Empire Knights are basically like a mobile response squad. Deadly Bunnies. It's to. Yeah, there is one word of advice, Way. Right behind you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That always gets me.
Yeah, but that's what the Empire Knights are for. And watch out for your right flank.
Volkmar got in the way of the cannons.
Volkmar.
And he got. Yeah. Rip. Volkmar.
Oh boy, Warhounds on the cannons.
You deploy too far forwards to have the full use of the cannon.
But those Warhounds are getting rocked. Didn't do enough damage to those freaking cannon units. Well, your front line is collapsing for the Empire.
Yeah. Save what he could have done better until after the battle.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just give pointers on what he could do when he's playing it. If that's what Way wants, of course. Oh dear, we have a freeze? No, we don't. Good use of Vile Tide, by the way, Geese.
Didn't really do any damage, though, sadly.
It doesn't work against cavalry, I've noticed. Even light cavalry.
Oh my gosh. These are done. Oof, you're gonna get freaking.
Those pistoliers are about to get pincered if you're not
Yeah, they're
careful.
about to get cornered.
I don't think the pistol is like Pistoliers versus the world.
Yeah, if you get Warhounds in those boys, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's just.
And a vile tide for it to add insult to injury. I think that's it.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that was a good Beastman. But also good for the Empire, too. Not bad. You kept your caster alive there at all. So.
Yeah, so
I was just gonna say it didn't look like he even went after the caster.
Yeah.
no, I don't claim to be an Empire expert, but I do think there's maybe a couple of things you could have done differently. Way. For starters, what did the Zintler's Reichsguard get up to? I don't think I saw them in the thick of things very often. Where were they?
They deployed right on top of some other units in a
Oh.
Vanguard deployment. So they were
Oh,
like
dear.
caught in the first second of the battle, yeah. On a map with more forest cover, if the Beastman player brought a Cygor, they could wait around until the Cygor doesn't have any supporting elements and charge in.
I can see your logic, but there's a few things to bear in mind. One is, remember what I said about not necessarily Vanguard deploying the Pistoliers, because otherwise they'll
Yes.
just get torn apart by Warhounds and Centaurs. That can, and by the sounds of it, did happen to the Zintler's Reichsguard. They might be much better in melee than Pistoliers, but they are still one unit. They're one unit
Yeah.
against however many units they got jumped on by. And if they don't get their charge off, they're in even more trouble. So that's one thing. Yeah, actually, this is a rule of thumb to anyone who's new, who's listening. Just because a unit can Vanguard deploy doesn't mean you should always use that Vanguard deployment. Sometimes it's better off to have them behind the main line or within the main lines. As with, on the advice of Noob for Life, your front line isn't really going to, it's not really going to win against a fast cav heavy build. That's not really the point of it. The main thing that you would use to deal with fast cavalry is you want something that's able to basically hit the fast cavalry before it can hit you. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. One is you can shoot it with ranged units of any sort. Helps if you have something that can pin the units in place. So I can see why you brought the light wizard to bring that pin in things like Centaurs, so you could then just pin cushion it. But that didn't quite go as planned, did it?
Yeah, I think a Manticore summon might be a little better at catching some of those guys. Or just dealing with their characters because they were rolling all over my front line.
Yeah, the thing is one thing that is fairly common to do against builds with fast cavalry, like the Beastmen, is to send out the Knights and the Pistoliers together. So you have the Pistoliers or your own skirmish cavalry wandering ahead of the main group, with the Knights only a bit behind. And then as soon as something comes chasing after them, you pull the Pistoliers back through the Knights and send the Knights forward to engage. And then as soon as the Knights are blocking it, you then whip the Pistoliers back around and have them shoot whatever the Knights are engaging.
Yeah.
Geese, based on what Way brought, what would you suggest if you were in his situation?
Hard one, really. I think Beastmen have a slight advantage over the Empire. Let's see what I would normally take.
Why do you think that is, by the way?
They have a hard time. You know, they're dependent upon like Pistoliers and things like that. The Spearmen are pretty flimsy and easy to break up. Halberdiers are pretty good, but they're 600 and they're a bit expensive.
I could try a build based on the halberdiers.
Hmm.
So there's one
It
with
could-
Balthazar.
It would be
Okay.
compromised by missile play really easily, though.
Yeah, the final transmutation on Balthazar Gelt, because like Beastmen usually blob up quite a lot. I don't know if you saw in that
yeah,
last one.
I see Gelt being a decent choice here.
Yeah, and he's also flying as well, so he's pretty hard to get a hold of.
Just watch out for harpies.
Yeah, he's a lot faster though, so as long as you can micro it, it's okay. The pistolers are good against virtually everything that the Beastmen can bring. Like Minotaurs have next to no armor. It's only like 30th, so anything will shoot them.
The reason why you see a lot of pistoliers in from certain players' way is the fact that not only are they just decent light skirmish cavalry, but also they deal a deceptive amount of damage due to how quickly they fire. Because you have,
Yeah,
because if we look at the stats of pistoliers, they have missile strength. Individually, they only do 13 missile damage with 2 armor piercing. That doesn't look like a lot, but then you realize they fire 2 shots per volley. Yeah, you're basically having 30 damage per shot. And that's coming from 45 models, so 135. That's basically 1,350 damage.
That seems like a lot of micro, though.
Well, basically,
don't-
what we do, you just sit there and you either slowly move forwards if they have a Cygor, or just sit there, wait for them to come to you, keep your pistolers behind your infantry, pin the Centaurs in place with Empire Knights. So it's it's manageable.
Okay.
Well, I'll take the same build again.
Okay.
You'll know what I'm doing, but
That's kind of half the point with some of these. We will sometimes deliberately go into a battle with one person knowing exactly what the other person has brought because they want to practice against a particular build.
0 goal.
oh, he has the super efficient build.
Yep. But you know how Beastmen, for some reason, the balance of power is always weirdly in their favor for whatever reason. At least to begin with.
Because they're such a good faction.
Huh.
Exactly. I was playing earlier against the Lizardmen, and they had the Bastillodon with the solar engine and Mazdamundi, and all I had was Morga, and the balance of power was like, yeah, you're probably going to win. It was like 60% in my favor.
Right.
Beastman's balance of power is so stupid.
It's unusual.
Oh, boy.
I'm all
Good
set.
luck. Good luck,
Good luck.
Blade. Okay, so remember, guys, no backseat gaming to way.
I'm not even paid. I'm on a different game, so I can't even do it. So I was like,
Okay.
I have
But-
never seen that unit before.
Where are these shots going? Whee! A bit of a miss.
Why have you got 2 Empire captains?
For the line buff.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense. Good, got your charge off, but flagellants are not going to like that. A word of advice. Oh wait, sorry. I'm not supposed to talk.
follow your own rules, Jesus.
Sorry.
Oh my god, jeez. So all of his Razor Gore is everything on that one unit.
I died. Oh well.
Oh dear.
See how this is going. It's a lot of pigs.
Oh dear. While I do love mortars, I think they're an excellent artillery piece. The accuracy of some of the individual shots does leave some things to be desired.
Yeah.
That's
Blue and blue.
true.
Careful, blue and blue.
Yeah, not an indictment of the things you've brought. It's just a thing about mortars in general.
I don't know, at least they're more accurate than the Goblin rock lobber.
Beastman player, when did you decide to charge your warhounds directly onto the front of those spearmen?
Why not?
Galaxy brain plans.
Well, when your warhounds are the size of the spearmen, you know, spears won't affect them.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, these warhounds are about the size of a lion.
You
Yeah,
think a
they
lion's
are.
gonna care about a spear? No.
Generally,
I'm saying,
no.
like, you could have probably charged him in the back or something. Probably would have been a little bit better.
Again, not too much backseat
sorry,
gaming, please.
sorry, yeah.
Oh, this is a big flank press, though.
Oh, imagine getting a final transmutation on that blob.
Yeah, it's on cooldown.
Oh,
Really sad.
Used it too
Uh,
early.
Oh dear. Sheds tears of
Tears of gold.
yeah.
Gold was my goal, so yeah.
Tears of gold and silver.
Fascination with gold. Can you ever take Balthasar serious, or do you just see gold member from Austin Powers?
I've never seen Austin Powers, so I do take it seriously.
Solves that problem.
Oh, you can't. You need to see it because I can see him being all happy around Carl Franz, like gold. He's so excited about it.
Wrecking those Minotaurs, though.
He is overly excited about gold.
On the side, he secretly kidnaps Pestilence Skaven just to pick off their scabs.
Ugh. Please, no more, Stroppy, no more.
I mean, he's excited enough. He wears it on his face, so
I know.
that's a man of dedication right there.
It is.
Good. That was a good cast. What do you know? The mortars actually hit something.
I don't like with skirmish cav how like all of the unit will aim for like 1 or 2 models.
Oh yeah, that's really annoying.
So it's like, yeah, you get like the kill, but you know, you could have split it up to like 5 or 6 models. Like against like Minotaurs it works, but when they're against like, you know, Centaurs or, you know, really low health infantry, it's like 2 or 3 shots would have done it. You know, especially when you get like Way Watchers. And it's like all shots target 1 model.
Yeah.
You know, completely pointless.
Yeah. The Minotaurs might actually hold. Or will they? No, I think they're about to go. Going.
Rally sort of
Gone.
gone. The Empire's in tatters.
As there was an empire.
I can safely say I've never won a match against Beastmen before.
Right.
Funny Beastmen were this good in campaign.
Oh,
Oh,
I actually managed to slay a pig.
put on Balthazar. I feel like his mount should have more gold on it.
You got a point there, actually. Yeah, why does it only have that silver headpiece?
There should have some gold on it.
Yeah. Or just ride a gold steed.
He knows he
can-
has to sacrifice fashion for speed.
It's
He wears-
Balthazar. He's
He wears,
magic.
he wears
doesn't have to worry
gold all
about
over him.
And for
Like,
some
half
reason,
his
he only
clothes-
has an armor value of 50.
But all the
Gold's a
gold's in
soft
his
metal.
face. It's also
I mean,
pretty
gold,
soft
gold
metal.
is a soft metal.
Man, you some of the things missing from the proper game, the tabletop game, like steam tank mounts, engineers can ride in them, and the master engineers, the Lord versions, had mechanical steeds, which was
Yeah.
quite funky.
Robot horses. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a pretty impressive thing.
Imagine having a steam tank as a mount. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, master engineers could have them.
One of the Empire captains got 73 kills. That's not too bad.
No, the Empire captains were. I think the Empire captains bolstering the front line is a decent idea, but I think the main thing where you went wrong way was the fact that when you had the cavalry going off to take their engagements against the Centaurs, Warhounds, Razorgores, et al., they didn't have the support they needed. The Pistoliers were there and they were firing their shots, but the thing is they were kind of not where they really needed to be. In a
But
few
if you're a new
cases.
Yeah.
player, that is a piss ton loads of micro to do. Jesus.
I think the lesson here is not to bring Empire against Beastmen.
So many units of cavalry.
And the Empire definitely has the tools to bring to fight the Beastmen, but I can see why it might be a bit trickier because the thing is I think you mentioned this earlier, Geese, but most of the things the Empire does to actually win, as in actually do the damage that will end the battle for them, are things that the Beastmen have the means of shutting down in one form or another. The most common spells the Beastmen bring in this match, and you probably saw it quite a few times, there is Vile Tide, which is that green explosion. And the reason why and the reason why you see it in this match is because it deals quite a decent amount of damage against low armored troops. And the Empire, with the exception of great swords, doesn't really have heavily armored infantry. And so for that reason, that very cheap spell can deal quite a lot of damage over quite a short space of time because it recharges fairly quickly, I believe. So you will see that thing be brought up in a lot of matches where there are low armored, densely packed infantry, and the Empire fits that bill very nicely. In terms of the ranged units, which is one of the main things the Empire uses to win, obviously Beastmen have a lot of fast-moving units. They have Hounds, Centaurs, Harpies, etc. These will easily make it into back lines very quickly. And that can make it tricky to get the most out of the ranged component of Empire builds. And as for cavalry, well, Beastmen actually have the means of beating Empire cavalry.
They have the Centaurs with great weapons, right?
They have that, but the real thing isn't so much the fact they'll have a unit that will straight up beat an Empire unit of cavalry one-on-one. I mean, the Royal Altdorf Griffites will beat, I think, pretty much any of the fast-moving Beastmen units one-on-one. No question. The thing is, the Beastmen don't fight those battles one-on-one. They'll fight about where they'll be outnumbering you with 3 units to 1 or 4 units to 2. And the thing is, Empire Knights don't really have the best stats. They've got good armor, sure, and good charge bonus, but 28 melee defense and 26 melee attack isn't a lot when you think about it. And they don't really have much weapon strength either. And although it says anti-infantry on their profile, they don't actually have the anti-infantry bonus. That's more just a role description in the green box. So, Empire Knights, they're good. For their cost, they can do a lot, but they're one of those units that will need quite a lot of support in order to actually win. So, they can be... so this isn't really so much an argument against them, but it's about knowing their limitations. And as you probably saw in both of those battles, Geese was able to beat the Empire Knights through mostly just by overwhelming them with Centaurs, Razor Gores, and the Warhounds, because Razor Gores deal armor-piercing damage. One thing, Beastmen are very vulnerable to a terror rout. So, having someone or something that can rout the Beastmen off is very handy to have, but as with previous things, you need to make sure that that unit doesn't fight a battle it can't win. And you brought Volkmar in the first fight, and Volkmar is, I would say he's good against Beastmen. I mean, I can't really think of too many matches where he's bad, to be honest. But the thing is, Volkmar got himself in a position where he was stuck, and he couldn't get out of the fight, so...
In difficult matchups like these, it's a question of who's the better player a lot of the time.
That can happen quite a bit. This is one thing I will say about this game, is sometimes it's kind of... yeah, sometimes it is decided. It's very heavily slanted as a result of the who's playing against who, but it can also be a bit of a lottery in terms of what builds you bring. Sometimes a certain build may be very very good at dealing with one threat, but might be vulnerable to many more. So you've got to take this into account. Do you have any advice, Geese, for what Wade did in his second battle?
I think it went better for you. Like the Minotaurs got shot to pieces by the Pistoliers. You probably used the final transmutation at like the wrong time, trying to get the most units together and then nuke it. It has to be overcast as well. You're trying to chase down that that attacker did on your left. You sent like virtually everything after it, and there was only about 2,000 points worth of my troops there, and he sent about 5,000 against it. It allowed me to win the other flank.
For newer players, as opposed to going with the potentially more powerful and more micro-intensive units, like the Knight of the Blazing Sun or the Demigryph Knight, use Reichsguard, which are cheaper than both units, but they have got better stats than the Empire Knights. They have better leadership than the Empire Knights. They're basically just superior Empire Knights. But yeah, if you were to bring 4 Empire Knights compared to 4 Reichsguard, that will basically be over 1,000 points more. So
essentially a whole nother Empire Knight.
yes,